Thank you all. Um, really appreciate you all for listening in. And I'm very excited to talk to you all about the Press Guardian Kickstarter that just finished. Had an amazing run. So, with as of right now, 106 backers. That has been one of our more successful Kickstarters in terms of number of backers, which I absolutely love. I love that we're building this audience and appreciate the fact that so many people believe in us and are supporting our projects this way. So, this is only the third project that we've done where we've had more than 100 backers. And so that's amazing. I love the trajectory of growth of backers for kind of the things that we've done. Means a lot to us. So thank you all again. Um, as for what's going on now, so the a lot of the most of the work of the Kickstarter is done long before we ever start the Kickstarter. So before even the pre-launch page goes live, we've literally spent months and months putting together our comic. So this script was written probably a year ago, and then it was 6 months of working with the artists that work on it, and the press guardian's a little bit different because, as you can see from the credits when you get your digital version or print version, there are a lot of different artists that are involved. So we worked with a real talented group of young artists to do the art. So have Tiff Kath, who has been instrumental in kind of guiding this whole process through all four issues. They were the ones who did all the pencils, and then we had the inks and the colors and so on. But that's been going on for 6 months. So by October, most of the art was finished. There are a couple of changes here and there that need to be done. Then we send it off to Seda, who does the lettering and the design. So that was finished. And then we go back and we do a second and a third check, trying to make sure that we have everything that's in there. Hey, Cora, how are you? Good to see you. Thank you for stopping by and joining as we talk about the Press Guardian Kickstarter and kind of the success that we saw with this one. So basically, everything is done and paid for the comic in December. Dixon, hi, how are you? Um, and so we've so the comic is like long done and paid for except for the printing by the time it goes to Kickstarter. And that's why you can see all the art and all the design and everything on the Kickstarter page, because we try and finish everything we can well before the Kickstarter kicks off. And then it's a matter of promoting, and that's literally almost a month, 21 days. I like shorter Kickstarters. So one of the dirty secrets in Kickstarterdom is you get this Kickstarter kind of plateau. So day one, in our case, because we were funded in 6 hours, so like the first 6 hours, you've got a whole bunch of pledges, and then it kind of dies and stays flat, and that's when people start panicking. It's actually funny because the scammers on Kickstarter know that, and that's when you'll start getting uh all of the notes and the emails from I love that handle. I'm so glad that you are so fast. They call you Sped. Hey, good to see you. Thank you for being here. uh I am not, no. Thank you for asking, though. And so so that's kind of where the scammers come in, and they go out of their way to like take advantage of the fact that things might be slowing down and see if they can separate you from your money to do fake promos. After that is done, or while that's going on, you constantly send out updates, whether it's on Blue Sky, Instagram, or whatever. That's how you that basically is how you keep the excitement for your campaign going, and you kind of plan for all of that. And then that's when you go, and then you go to the end of the campaign. So we got to the end of 21 days, and we finished up successfully with the Kickstarter, and that's basically been the extent of this process. Um, so that is that's what we did with the Press Guardian, and so we're incredibly thankful to everybody who supported the campaign, who backed us. We had a really great job. We had a really great job from everybody, and again, a whole lot of support. This again was our most successful Press Guardian campaign, and it was one of our most successful Kickstarter campaigns overall. So really appreciate the support. Getting support for indie comics is always hard, but especially when you're doing something that is difficult for a lot of people to understand. It is absolutely very kind of a unique comic to try and make. So I'm incredibly grateful for all of the amazing people who took their time to back us, who trusted us to get this out there. As I said in the email that I sent out, we will likely go ahead and get the digital versions out late next week. And hopefully I'll have both issue 4 digital as well as the trade digitals out by then. So we'll have that out, and then when the digitals are all finished and ready to go, we'll send everything off to the printer. And when Kickstarter gets the funds to us, that'll be great, but we're not going to let that slow down the process. It usually takes about 14 days before Kickstarter gets the funds to people. So we'll but we don't want to wait 14 days before we send things to the printer, especially if it's finished. SETA works very, very fast in getting any changes or anything done. We've already got most of the design done for the trade, so we should be ready to go. And there were a couple of minor things that Ben caught last minute. Ben is such an amazing editor that we're going to be able to get these over. So once again, really appreciate all of the incredible support that we've had from people for this campaign. Everybody has been incredibly generous, and not just with backing the campaign, but also with sharing it out and getting other people to back it. So really appreciate all the referrals that we got for this. It's been very exciting, and looking forward to it. So in March, likely in March, there's always a chance that things will get pushed. But we are going to be launching our campaign for the Conjure Man Dies. So the Conjure Man Dies is set in Harlem, and it's the first mystery novel by a Black writer to feature a black detective and an all Black cast of characters. It's a really great book, really interesting, and so making a comic version of that has been really exciting. The team that we assembled for this, Darren Soto and DJ Chavez for doing the art, are incredible, and I think you'll really like them. And then getting the novel turned into a script by David Marriott's done that. That's been really great. I've got a couple of surprises for who we're going to bring in to do a couple of the covers. So look forward to that. If you have a chance, find this at your local library. It's a really good book, a really interesting read. And tell you a quick aside before I let everybody go. One of the things that David and I spent a lot of time discussing in the script was doorbells. So think in 1930s Harlem, or 1930s in general, how common were doorbells. So one of the scenes involves somebody going and ringing a doorbell, and so we're like, well, wait, were doorbells a thing? And that's when we're doing historical stories or stories set in a certain time. These are kind of like the touches that we always have to think about and research. And it turns out actually there were doorbells in the 1930s. They weren't very common, and in fact, um, for people that had doorbells in their houses, they actually had like little push me signs underneath because nobody knew what they were because they were so uncommon. Then in 1936, the Sears catalog started selling doorbells, and and then suddenly they were everywhere because kind of like, the Sears catalog was the Amazon of its time. And you could go and, if once something was featured in there, it was basically in households all over the country because basically anybody could buy it. But the other thing that we learned was that, a lot of a lot of thank you, appreciate that. um a lot of people, a lot of African Americans and Black people really loved the Sears catalog because Sears catalog didn't discriminate. They would send it, whoever sent them the money, they would send them the product. And there were so many places where Black people couldn't shop in the 1930s that, the few places where they could get things like doorbells is from the Sears catalog. So it's absolutely fascinating to me how much the Sears catalog played unintentionally, uh, possibly unintentionally, in allowing African Americans to shop for things that everybody else was able to get. So really appreciate that, and getting to learn that and so on. I think you're really going to like the script that David wrote, and I know you're going to love the art, from Darren and from DJ. So looking forward to that. We'll get that, more information to you out, and probably get the pre-launch page up mid-February for an early to mid-March launch. Thank you all again for your support for the Press Guardian. I cannot wait for you to get this final chapter out. I think you're absolutely going to love it. I don't like tooting my own horn, but I'm really proud of the way we ended this, and, it's pretty exciting. So thank you all again, and, look forward to continuing to provide the, comics to you all. And, as always, I sincerely appreciate the amazing support that we've gotten from everybody.